What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. So the numbers are in, the ratings numbers for these debacles, the documentary, and the Oprah afterview. Now, this first piece is from MTO News. I have no idea what that stands for. And I looked high and low. I don't know what that stands for. So if somebody knows what MTO stands for, please tell me, because it says the most visited African American news network. I still don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Oprah's Neverland interview, a major flop, ratings disaster. We love this. We love this. I've pulled two pieces because I want to show contrast, just in case. I don't want to just do one source. So the ratings for Oprah Winfrey's interview with the Liars following the conclusion of the two-part HBO documentary Leaving Neverland are in, and it looks bad. Very bad. Oprah and bestie to Harvey Weinstein interviewed the two liars, who now accuse Michael Jackson of sexually abusing them as children. Both men claimed in the past that we knew that, okay, according to the ratings, less than 1 million viewers tuned in to watch this mess. That's pretty bad. To put it in perspective, how bad it was, more than 50 cable shows got better ratings than Oprah's interview. So it wasn't the number one thing, you see. So I give us credit for that, you guys. All of us who said we're not watching it. I mean, at least we made some kind of an impact. It wasn't the most viewed thing of the night, and it broke HBO history, and it wasn't. So we're glad about that. So we need to take this as a small victory for ourselves. Victory. We proclaim victory for ourselves. All right. According to the rating, Oprah Winfrey Presents After Neverland drew only 780,000 viewers. Oprah and bestie to Harvey Weinstein, a child molestation survivor herself, taped but has never revealed her own accuser, and never did an interview or a documentary about him, taped or them, because she said she was raped by several people, taped the interview in front of a live studio audience of sexual abuse survivors. Online reports say that Oprah and bestie to Harvey Weinstein and her people expected somewhere between 2 and 3 million viewers. She was wrong. A handful of celebrities have spoken out against the Finding Neverland documentary. In particular, hot new hip-hop points to rapper T.I. and comedian Monique. Here's what their report had to say. Before I even read this, I've told you guys every time there's something major that has gone on, the one person that speaks up and has the right things to say is T.I. I have to give it over for that. I have to. Every time I turn, he's popping up and he's saying the right things. I hope he doesn't disappoint me here. All right, recently, rapper T.I. questioned the movies of Michael Jackson's latest sexual abuse accusers, the Liars. And now Monique has a few choice words for the Oprah and best friend Harvey Weinstein. So are they going to is there going to be a quote? Following the airing of Leaving Neverland, Winfrey hosted her own television special where she interviewed the two liars at the center of the two-part documentary. Monique and her husband, Sydney, shared their opinions on their podcast, web series, Open Relationship, and expressed their disapproval of Oprah's choice to question Jackson's accusers. Here's a man that was found not guilty in the eyes of the law, Monique said. And you wait for 10 years after this man was deceased to now do an interview with people who said they lied? The actress was referring to Jackson's previous court trial in early 2005, where he was accused of molesting a 13-year-old boy and was later acquitted. For me, it's sad and disheartening. That man welcomed you into his home, and you spoke of how beautiful and all the love this man has shown children all over the world. All right, well, I need a quote from T.I. I need to. Maybe this is it. Let me click on this. Okay, this is not giving us what we want. This is just about him. Clifford Joseph Harris. I didn't know that was his name. Um, Let me see if I can find that. It's relevant. T.I. says Leaving Neverland is part of an agenda to destroy black culture. Destroy another strong black historical legend, the rapper writes. Why us all the time? This is why I love this brother. Like I've never watched a single episode of the reality show. I couldn't tell you a song of his if it came on the radio. This is why I know him. Because he first came on the radar. I mean, I heard his name before, but I saw him for the first time. He had just got out of jail, and he was on the Monique show when she had her show on BET, and he was such an old soul, very contained. There was a wisdom about him, even a knowing. He was such an old soul. I mean, he seemed like one of them old men you hang out with, you know, that don't really get rattled by a bunch of stuff. And I was impressed. I was like, that's him, you know. And then after that, then when we cover police stories and all that kind of stuff back on the old channels and stuff, and anytime he speaks out, it's like he's got the right thing to say. He's always on the right side. And he's not afraid to put his face and name and say, I said it. I love that. My God. Like, I would buy a damn T.I. CD just for that. Even if I never listened to it. All right. Despite the threat of legal action from the Michael Jackson estate, HBO went ahead with their plans to premiere Leaving Neverland. This is from March the 7th, everybody. Went ahead with their plans to premiere Leaving Neverland last week. The two-part documentary tells that we know, okay, although sexual misconduct allegations, okay, get to T.I. Despite R. Kelly, the fact Leaving Neverland is much harder to stomach. Okay. As well, the late Thriller star get to T.I. One of those, okay. As with Kelly, the late Thriller star still has plenty of support in his corner of the ring. However, one of those is veteran rapper T.I., who recently took to Instagram to blast Leaving Neverland. And let me stop and say this. He might have gone to Instagram on this, and maybe even some of his other stuff he put it on Instagram, but he put the stuff in article, like this is what I'm saying, you know, which is a step up from just, oh, I just tweeted it and then that was it, or I put it on Instagram, like he hasn't been one of those people who just hit on those platforms. It's been in print, in writing, like I did an interview and I said this, you know, or he called and just whatever. To blast another, in his criticism, T.I. accused the HBO project of destroying black culture. The 38-year-old MC also slammed the racial double standard when it comes to pushing celebrity pedophiles in America. Dead men can't talk. So, what was the point again? What was the point again? T.I. wrote on Instagram on Wednesday, destroy another black historical legend? It's several examples of pedophilia in American history. If y'all pull up all our old shit, we got to examine Elvis Presley, Hugh Hefner. I don't know what SIC is. How a whole slew of others, how and a whole slew of others guilty of the same, if not more. But why us all the time? He continued. There's an agenda to destroy our culture. His Instagram post also contained a snippet of a 1999 interview between Jackson and Piers Morgan, in which the pop singer frequently denied any and all abuse allegations. In a second Instagram post, T.I. questioned why Michael spending time with children automatically raised concerns rather than, say, admiration. He quoted a tweet that read, "People always say, why did he spend so much time with children?" As though the idea that he didn't want to have sex with them is incomprehensible. It's such a slap in the face to the countless men who work with or for children and child welfare with their well-being at heart. TI's TI's conclusion: these are assaults against our culture. Make no mistake of it. T.I. likely has a point. Not no likely. This is shade. Damn it, we drag them for the word likely. Who is this? Lake Schatz, definitely a Zionist. I don't know what COS stands for. Something news. I'm over it. So we will change that. T.I. has a point about the double standard, and there's no debate that the criminal justice system, like many other archaic, long-standing American institutions, is structured in such a way that it works against African people. Still, it's difficult to see how the rapper, who has children of his own and has prided himself on his activism, can turn a blind eye to Jackson's transgression. Definitely written by a white Zionist devil. No question. Nah. In fact, you just proved his point. He has children of his own. So he spends time with his children. Does that make him a pedophile too? Quick, investigate T.I. I'm so over these people. I pray daily. Ya Allah, please make them die off. All right, there's another one though. Another one. And of course, this is written by devils too. So beware. Rapper T.I. brands Michael Jackson's Leaving Neverland documentary racist and calls for Elvis and Hugh Hefner to be investigated instead. I love it. The HBO documentary Leaving Neverland aired for the first time in the UK on Tuesday. Okay, we know that. Wade Robson don't care. Several stars spoken out in defense of King of Pop who have been dead for 10 years. T.I., who came out in support of the pop artist on Wednesday. Now suddenly he's a pop artist, not the king of pop, the greatest and most famous human being that ever lived. No, no, came out in support of the pop artist, like as if it's Cardi B or somebody, or it's Taylor Swift or something. Like, give me a break. Um, that's why I like this brother. Like I said, I don't know anything else about him. I know, and the other thing I know about him is that him and his wife were either getting divorced or got divorced or something, and I know who she is only because she was in Escape. I think it was Escape. But my jam is I got love on my mind. Doom doom. Um, I got love on my mind. Oh man, I can't think of the lyric. It escapes me. Something. Even tonight. Uh, oh man, I can't think of it. Responding to the documentary on Instagram, Ti said, "Let this man speak for himself to defend his legacy. Let this man speak for himself to defend his legacy. Don't just listen to one side and expect to find truth." Oh, that's right. Dead men can't speak. Love the sarcasm. Love it. Love it. You see, he puts his soul into it. Like he's not using those hovering words that make white people feel comfortable and like he's really not. And fuck all of that. Tell the truth. Oh my God. I love it. Um, so what was the point again? Destroy another strong black historical legend? It's several examples of pedophilia in American history. If y'all pulling up all our old stuff, we gotta examine Elvis Presley, Hugh Hefner, and plus the whole list that I gave you guys in a whole video that I brought, and a whole slew of others guilty of the same, if not more. But why us all the time? There's an agenda to destroy our culture. You see? But that's why I say if we know this, we have to take action, everybody. We must take action. We got to do stuff we never did before. You understand? We've done all the marching. We've done all the chanting. We've done all the protesting. It's time for something new. T.I.'s Instagram post on Wednesday is in support of Michael Jackson. The post features an extract of the singer's 1999 interview with Pierce lying as White Devil Morgan. Okay, these are the liars. And I heard something, you guys, somewhere. Um, oh wait, the rapper posted a picture of Pierce Morgan's interview, which is the star, where the star said he would slit his wrist before hurting a child after Morgan questioned him over the allegation of child abuse at the time. The rapper captioned the post, "Pierce Morgan, a real one this time." Um, the documentary was aired hours after protesters gathered outside the central London office of Channel 4, holding banners claiming he was innocent and chanting "Facts don't lie, people do." I love that. The show has already been aired in the US. Fans of Michael, okay. One viewer said it's such a no. Okay, it's only 30 minutes into the documentary. Steve Moore, okay, we don't need more of this. We already read what T.I. had to say. I was going to say this. Somebody pointed out, because even I said in my pieces, show me a medical report. I'm going to need something medical. I'm going to need something medical. But somebody pointed out something further that I hadn't thought about. Because they were a victim. Past victim of abuse, and they were saying the signs aren't there for these liars. Usually they withdraw. If they're doing well in school, suddenly their grades drop. Sometimes they turn to overeating. They become quiet and withdrawn and sort of just don't talk to. And so there's things, but there's no report of any of this from these little liars. None. No report of that. Which I think strengthens the "they are liars" case. And lastly, I'll show you this. I'm going to link this. Let me show you. This right here is called Picket Fences, the footage Wade Robson doesn't want you to see. This was significant. Who shared this with me? Karindal Sadiq. And, or is it Sadiq? I think it's Sadiq. But anyways, this is a movie, everybody. It's just an 8-minute clip, but Terrence Howard is in it. There's a few people. You'll recognize the father that plays the father of his friend. Anyways, he's acting like this little black dude in this whole thing. What's up, G? And all the swag and what's up, baby money? So and so and all this whole thing. But when I did my piece on the After Oprah thing, I was pointing out, he's a choreographer, he's a creative, and so, he's the ringleader and blah, 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 blah. But the little fucker's also an actor. An actor. Failed, but an actor. You see, definitely a failed actor. And I never could figure out, I feel like his shirt said Ethiopian for some reason. I never could catch it just the right way. Let me see if I can get it. You see here, you can see Ethiopian. Why is a white devil ass kid wearing anything that says Ethiopian? And I don't know what the bottom of it says, but he's acting like a black kid the whole time in this. And he even has one point where he's hitting on this sister that's way older than him. And then he's talking about, black is the best race. They act the best, they dress the best, they got the best music, they got everything the best. White folks is whack. You see? And I suggest to you some of that's really in him. Because in my mind, to be an actor, to access a character, you have to have something about you that can relate to that. Because if you just do a mimic, it will come off as a mimic, not an investment. Are you following me? There's a difference in mimicking and acting. He was doing all the nuance, the looks, how he brushes his nose, and it just made me sick. I think I threw up in my mouth when I saw this. It'll make you sick. You won't get through this. I'm gonna see if I can see what the bottom of his damn shirt says. Hold up, y'all. I can't figure out what it says, y'all. I can't. It's Ethiopian something. And of course he's sagging. He's got the big baggy pants on, and it's sickening, And then there's a fight between him and Terrence Howard comes up and calling him out. Then some white boys come up and they're calling him a wigger, And he's like, hold up, G. Hold up, G. And then when he meets the parents, he's like, oh, what's up, Pops? And oh my God, I'm going to vomit telling you about it. Just have a bag to breathe in when you watch this, everybody. Get you a brown paper bag to breathe in because you will not be able to get through this without being sick. I will promise you this. Oh my God, I can't. Wanted to contrast some other numbers and see what lies they're telling, and we're done with this video. But I'll link this. HBO, how HBO's Michael Jackson documentary Leaving Neverland did in the ratings. I need to pull this in. HBO's Leaving Neverland focused on, I know what it focused on. Alright, let's get to the numbers. Alright, because Leaving Neverland clocks in at around 4 hours, HBO split it. Okay, that's fine. Who cares? The documentary managed to make it into the top 10. managed to make it into the top 10 cable telecasts of the night, at least in terms of the key age demographics for adults 18 to 49. So that's a revealing language there, everybody. Because instead of it saying the documentary at was was at the top of the top 10, or was in the top 10, or easily made the top 10, and beat the night or something, but no, it says like managed, like you managed to, like it was a struggle, like it was a struggle piece, you see, managed to make it into the top 10 cable telecasts of the night, comma, at least in terms, so they have to qualify it, you see. So when you have to qualify your win, you haven't won. I mean, I won, but it was after they had crowned the winner, and then they went to the second half, and then they had crowned me and stuff. No, you see, at least in terms of the key age demographics 18 to 49, it seems it earned a zero point 0.4 demo rating and was tied for the fifth highest demo of the night. Quite a few other shows, this is parentheses now, quite a few other shows such as Showtime, Shameless, Adult Swim, and Hunt Streets, and Discovery of Leslie Bush people also got a point rating. Yes, that's the sort of but it was tied for fifth. As far as the numbers of viewers goes, Leaving Neverland Part 1 was watched by around 1.28 million people, a total that wasn't enough to get the controversial project into the most watched non-broadcast shows on Sunday night. However, it was absolutely still a big win for HBO. This, however, you see, that's again that qualifier. Well, it still was a win for HBO, and they still had lattes after, and there was Dom Perignon, but we're not going to get into the Sean Don Perignon. You see, we're not just, you see, nah, it failed. According to the THR, an additional day of delayed viewing reportedly brought in another 500,000. You see, so it was down from the first night for the second half. That means people didn't follow up. Another 500, another 500,000 viewers or so, comma. No, either that's a firm number or it's not. Another 500,000 viewers or so. And we don't really know. It's relative. Bob, when's lunch? You see, bringing the total up to 1.7 by Tuesday evening. You see, so we're at 1.28, then it's 1.7. That was their total. That was their total. You understand? Just to contrast that, Judge Judy gets more viewers than that. You understand? Each day. Oh my God, let's find out. Let's contrast that. We're gonna ask the White Heifer right now. Oh, we're gonna learn today. Um, how many viewers watch Judge Judy daily?
Judge Judy's cast includes Judy Shineland and Petrie Hawkins Bird.
Bitch, I didn't ask you that. But even though the heifer didn't tell me, it says right here, it says, oh my God, I clicked something. That's what I hate about these phones. You touch one thing and you're off to something else. It says, now in its, this is from July this is from July of 2017. It says, now in its 21st season, Judge Judy averages more than 9.5 million daily viewers. You see what I'm saying? They didn't pull in as much as Judge Goddammit Judy. You feel me? Let's see what Wendy pulls in. How many daily viewers does the Wendy Williams show get? I don't want to talk. Alright, bitch. How Wendy Williams became Daily Talk's unlikely. Wendy Williams show ratings. Okay, that's what we want. I think that's what we want. I need a number. Wendy Williams show. Come on. Wendy, come on. And they're always trying to sell you shit. No, thank you. God damn it. Um, this is getting complicated. I need to ask it differently. How many people watch the Wendy Williams show each day? This is really not giving me the answer I want. Without a bunch of reading and shit. I'm not trying to read. Anyways, I've proven my point already with just Judge Judy. I really don't need Wendy. I really don't need her. You understand me? I've proven my point. You see. Meanwhile, let's see how many people watched Michael Jackson's HBO special. How many people watched Michael Jackson's HBO concert? Jackson's concert sets HBO record. This is from 1992. Back in the 1990s. HBO airing of Michael Jackson's concert in Bucharest, Romania, on Saturday was the pay cable's net highest rated special ever, scoring 21.4. Huh? Meanwhile, they had a 0.4 rating. His scoring was a 21.4 rating. 34 shares in HBO's 17.5 million homes. Don't come near me. Don't come near me. Don't come near me. Don't look at me. Don't do it. You see what I'm saying? So that's why they put all this qualifying language. Well, if you look at it this way and according to, and we can't. Nah. It fell flat and it failed. But that also speaks to us to say to us that most people know this is a bunch of garbage. It's garbage. It's garbage, you know? Because they should have had huge numbers. And you had Oprah involved. According to HR, okay, but also the streams. Let's see. So their total is 1.7 by Tuesday. Note that accounts for not just linear TV views, but also those who stream the documentary on HBO Go and HBO Now. So that means over all their platforms, they were only able to pull down a total of 1.7 million people. All right. By the way, there was nearly 2 million people on the National Mall for Obama's first inauguration. So if you can just picture that in your mind, that's how many people saw this garbage. That's it. That's it. That's huge for an inauguration, but it's nothing for television viewership. All right. Let's see. The actual biggest show of Sunday night, who cares? We have their numbers already. All right, Monday night, to be expected. Leaving Neverland didn't fare quite as well with its second part. It didn't tumble too far, though, with 927,000 views, turning in tuning in to see the allegations piling up during the documentary continuation. Monday night's telecast only dropped a tenth of a percentage point in the demographic rating to a 0.3 total for part 2. Neither of those totals was good enough to earn a top 10 spot, but Leaving Neverland's demo rating did manage to keep the doc in cable's top 25 for Monday evening. You see, so it wasn't even number 1. You see? Interesting that anything Michael did, anything he did, if he sneezed, it was the number 1 sneeze ever witnessed by all of humanity. Number 1, immediately number 1. Like, oh my God, Michael sneezed, it's the greatest sneeze ever. You put on a slanderous documentary about this man thinking that because Michael Jackson's name is attached to it, it will be number 1. And yet, it was not. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. We proclaim victory, everyone. We proclaim victory. You never can have it all. You can't. I tell you, that's one of the laws of the universe. You're not allowed to have everything. You're not allowed. You're not allowed. You see? And I tell you too, Allah protects his servants. He protects his servants, everybody. He protects his servants, his true servants. His true servants. You understand? And we don't know. We can assume Michael was not a perfect human being because only the prophets were, you know? But we can't name a single thing this man ever did publicly. You don't hear any stories of him being a diva and cussing people out and throwing tantrums and being unkind and being bad to work for, you know. I shared the story with you that one of the venues I performed at as him, one of the security for the venue was a police officer that worked for him, and you know, he told me about, you know, when if you double cross him, or if you do something wrong, or you go against him, he'll go to somebody and just tell them, I don't want to see that person anymore. You know, I'm the same way. I freeze people out. Like, once you show me that you have ill intent, that's very different than making a mistake or just being imperfect. But when you purposely have ill intent, I freeze you out. You are no more. Like, you can't come near me after that. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Forever. But we never saw him do anything. We never saw it. We never saw it. And he was the most followed. You know? It's kind of like Obama. You never saw him do anything that was not dignified. Never saw it. You never saw it. And of course, they were waiting for any story of scandal and, ooh, look what Obama did. See? He never gave it to him. And our angel, First Lady, who I have the videotape of her descending from heaven on the wings of angels, Michelle LaVaughn Robinson Obama. I'm just going to need a moment, y'all. I'm just going to need a moment. Just going to need a moment. Just going to need a moment. I'm saying. But, alas, they have failed. So, we don't care about ratings and all this. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? It was a flop. Well, just so that I'm fair, I want to give you the numbers, and let me just scan it. To Cable's top 25. Okay. To its credit, Neverland's second night demo rating matched up with programs that had double and triple its HBO viewers. What did it say? Rating matched up with programs that had doubled and tripled its HBO viewers. No, you can't go back and go, well, it was a flop, but it matched when we played Dumbo, and it was also when we played, you know, come on. We're not reading that. We don't need it. Just based on that intro, we don't need it. The WWE ruled over Monday night. Nobody cares. Big broadcast. Nobody cares. They've already stated the case. All right. Oprah's follow-up ratings. For those looking to see the conversation expand even wider, Oprah's fake ass somewhat surprisingly chose to air Oprah Winfrey Presents After Neverland, following the second part of Leaving Neverland. You see, and look how the arrogance, not After Neverland, hosted by Oprah Winfrey. No, Oprah Winfrey Presents. I could see her now with her Moscow Mule in her hand. She's sitting there with her glasses on. Her hair is not done. She's in just some sweats, no makeup, and she's talking to Gail. And she puts her Moscow Mule down and she says, "I can say Oprah Winfrey Presents, and we'll do After Neverland. We'll do After Neverland. Yeah, 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 yeah." So her arrogance and her ego shows up just in the title of the presentation. Following the second part of Neverland, featuring the liars. The special was taped in front of a live audience of sexual abuse survivors who were used only as props, as well as others whose lives were changed by such criminal acts. But no white people in sight. Lots of Leaving Neverland viewers apparently decided to stick around to see how Oprah handled the discussion too. After Neverland was watched by around 780,000. So she didn't even break a million. You see what I'm saying? Like I say, Judge Judy got more than you, homie. Come on. Listen, it's one thing to watch something every day. You would expect it to fall out. You know what I'm saying? Judge Judy gets all those damn millions of people every day. You do a one-time special that's been built up for 10 years or something, it seems like. You feel me? When it comes to the night of execution, it's supposed to be big, like they killed it. But you didn't. You didn't. You did not. You failed. Was watched by around, and that's around 780,000. That's a very important word right there, everybody. And especially when you're talking about Oprah Winfrey, for them to use that around, because her ego, I've already displayed her ego in the title. She wanted her numbers to be right there. I suggest to you, it wasn't quite 780,000. They were doing some rounding up. It was around 780,000. This was around there. It was around it. How come you didn't show up at my house at 12? Well, I was around there, but you were 10 blocks over. But I was around there. You see. It was around 780,000 views, which is technically, and they have to use more qualifying words, comma, which is technically more than both ESPN's part in the interruption, VH1's cartel crew. It's technically, I mean, it's not really, but if you look at it technically, then do you understand it all? I can't. And both of those shows, see, don't tell me about other shows. Tell me about Oprah. How does she stand on her own? You see what I'm saying? Because when I read you the stats on Judge Judy, this is what Judge Judy pulls in. Done. Not if you compare it to Lassie or something. I don't, I can't. And both of those shows tied with Michael Jackson's documentary. And both of those shows tied the Michael Jackson doc in the top 25 demo rating. Oh, talking about the ESPN and the interruption in the VH show. They tied the Michael Jackson show. Why are you telling me that? They're throwing all this at you. I just want to hear about Oprah and the documentary. We've heard about 50 different shows now. Them trying to qualify and make it be, and it's this. No, the proof is in the damn numbers and the language they're using to describe it. It fell flat and it failed. Period. The end. Period. 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 And I would also say to you that, in my observation, it seems that all of our backlash against this online has even put fear in those who would want to come to try to defend this thing. There's more people out here who are for Michael Jackson than there are, and that there ever will be against him. We must remember, this was the most famous human being that ever existed on the planet we know as Earth. That is an outrageous and truthful statement. It's overwhelming to even say it. It's the truth. And so this man's name and face was instantly known in every corner of the earth. Places where they've never seen a fake picture, that fake picture of Jesus. They couldn't tell you the name of probably the president or leader of their own country. There's people in this country, when Jay Leno used to do his jaywalking, and he'd be out on the street asking people stuff you should know. And just dumb people. That's why I was telling you, Americans are the dumbest population on the earth. The dumbest. Oh my God, the dumbest. But there's people in this country right now that don't know who the president and vice president are. Just even that. Don't even ask them any history. Throw that out. Just go, who's the vice president? Forget. Don't ask them the president. There'll be some people who don't know who the president is. But at least ask them who's the vice president. No one will know. No one will know. Ask them who's the Speaker of the House. See if they know that. But I'm saying, but you put a picture of Michael Jackson, there's not a single person that does not know who he is. Doesn't know. You must remember there would be a sea of people wherever he appeared. A sea of people. A sea. People falling out and being carried out before the man even comes on stage. And certainly for his Bucharest concert, when he pops up out, they're already being carried out before anything happens on stage, before Michael's even seen. People are being carried out. They're lifting people over other people, and they're being carried out on stretchers. Hasn't even appeared. Just the energy of knowing that you're at the same place that he is, and he's gonna be here right now. I've experienced that. I mean, I didn't fall out and have to be, carried over people and taken out on a stretcher, but I've tried to explain to you in the past that anxiety of excitement that comes over you because you've gotten your tickets, and you get that excitement, you got your tickets, and then the day comes that it's getting closer to the day of the concert. Ooh, we're going. And then you get to the venue, ooh, and you're seeing other people and you're getting excited, and all that's a different thing than once you sit in your seat and the house lights are still on, the place still filling up, and you begin to realize he's going to be on that stage right now. He's Michael Jackson's gonna be here, and this hysteria sort of comes over you, and so for some people it's too much, and then they are being carried out and hosed down and resuscitated, and they can't go on. And then when he pops up out of the stage, another 10 people fall out and faint and have to be carried out. He hadn't done anything. He created hysteria. Like, hysteria. Other artists today, the place just goes up. They get excited. They get a big applause. They may get a standing ovation. Michael Jackson created thunderous hysteria. Even when he wasn't on the stage. If people just glimpsed him going into a building, just ducking in and being, with security and holding the crowd back and everything, you'd have people screaming, "Oh my God, I saw him. Oh my God," like it was otherworldly. Oh my God, I saw him. He created hysteria. Hysteria. Quick little story and we'll be done. You guys know when you do the Super Bowl, when they put on the Super Bowl, every second of that show counts because they're trying to maximize their coin. You understand? Everything is timed. You see, we have this many minutes for this, and we got to run commercials because they've already sold hundreds of billions of dollars in ads. Them little ads everybody's waiting to see. All right? So, when you do the halftime show, you have a certain amount of time to get that stage out there and get it set up, a certain amount of time to perform, and be off the stage, and we're over it. Well, Michael don't play by the rules like that. And I can tell you that when he popped up When he popped up out of that stage and just stood there, there was phones being called. There was, I mean, memos being sent. Why is he standing there? Because for every moment that Michael, for every moment that Michael stood there, they could have been selling that much more advertising. He cost them billions. I love it. He just stood there. He just stood there. And by the way, that's the first time we ever saw uh, fireworks in the daytime. Man, this dude was like no other. I'm just telling you. My God. Wow. Yeah. But, so, they couldn't even get the numbers, so it fell flat and it failed. And we see that as a kiss from God. And all those who are involved in this, may they burn in hell. You know, we have a saying in Arabic, Allahu Alam. That means Allah knows best. You know, Allah knows best. Allah is the best of knowers. Allahu Alam. And so, when we can't figure something out, or we just don't know what the answer will be, after we racked our brain in our lowly capacity, we say Allahu Alam, you know. And so, while I 100% am convicted on Michael's complete innocence, Allahu Alam, you know, Allahu Alam. But I love and will continue to love this man. I miss him deeply, deeply, because he was on earth when I arrived. And until he died, I didn't know what, I'd never lived in a world without him. I never lived in a world that didn't include Michael Jackson. I didn't, you know. I think my nephew, the Prince, was 3 when Michael died. I'd have to do the math. I'm not doing any math right now, all right? And I've given my people a lunch break, so I can't get my team to do it. But without any provocation from me or anybody, my nephew fell in love with Michael. He just loves Michael Jackson, you know? And that is just a testimony of his spirit living on in his music and his work. He's captivating people still, new generations, you know. It doesn't matter when you see him. If you see him 100 years from now, if you see a video or something, you go, who's that dude? Where's that at? Who's doing that? You know, because nobody does it like him, on or off stage. Nobody does anything like him. They just don't. And I also can't miss the opportunity to point out in this picture, once again, no gaudy jewelry, no earrings, no chains, no rings, no expensive watches. This is one of them things you just tie around your, one of them things he used to wear, and he used to wear ribbons and things like that. He was not a gaudy, materialistic dude. I have to point that out. I have to. I have to. I have to. You know, he was just a simple guy, And when they talk about him being at that house with the family, that little tiny house, I saw something and they were showing an aerial of the house and showing the house. And I saw, yeah, because, his world has been nothing but people screaming at him. That's everywhere you go. Nobody just comes to, hi, Michael, how are you? And, it's, people are hysterical. Anytime you see humanity, they're screaming at you. And you're running from them half the time, So, yes, to just be at somebody's simple, unattractive house, just somewhere wherever these damn white people lived, just nobody screaming at you, having that experience of just the TV's on and people just doing their thing in the house and maybe the dryer is going or something, just basic. Yeah. Let me just get away from that. just to bring myself to reality and to try and experience some sense of something that doesn't involve security and limousines and private jets and people screaming at me and me ducking into doorways and ducking out of kitchens and using body doubles, and I've got to rent out 5 floors of a hotel because people you can't. There's no handbook for being the most famous human being on the earth. There is no handbook for that. And lastly, I would just say to that point, to parents who are out there, when you had your first child, you realized there's no handbook of how to do this. No handbook. There's no handbook. And you're doing something everybody does at some point, or most people in their life, they have a child. But yet, you feel sort of like, I don't know what I'm doing. And you question yourself, am I doing the right things? Am I doing enough? All those things come to mind. There's no handbook of how to be a parent. There's no handbook of how to be the perfect parent, how to raise the perfect child, and da 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 da. You see? So there's no handbook for being the most famous human that ever walked on earth. And you're that in your own time. Not like after you die, you became really big and oh my God. We've seen that people that weren't so much when they were living, but then they just sort of had this nostalgia after they died, and their fame just kind of grew after that. But here you are in your own time witnessing your own fame, and it can be like, what is that? I remember the first time that I was mobbed as him. I was on my way to a gig, and at that time, after this, I got an entourage. At that time, I was just with my girlfriend at the time, and uh, it was out in California. And on the way to the where I was going to be performing, I told the driver, "Okay, can we stop by Michael Jackson's Star?" So I don't think of me as him at that point. I'm me. I know I'm dressed as him, and I'm in full makeup, and I step out of the limousine. I'm just gonna take a picture on Michael Starr. And I don't think anything about this being anything until it was. I heard somebody scream, "It's Michael Jackson!" And all these people just came out of nowhere, out of a puff of smoke. And the driver literally had to jump back out of the car and come around, and they were trying to. It was crazy, and there was a few people that realized I'm not Michael, and they were trying to help push people back and get me back into the limousine. That's when I realized, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. One time we were on a gig. Now I have my entourage. Now I had my entourage, and we had this one gig, and we stopped because I had to use the bathroom, and we stopped at this mall, and we were going through J.C. Penney's, and you can always tell when people are trying to get close. They start moving from racks, and they start moving your way. But I learned how to walk very quickly, and do that whole like don't be seen thing, which really only draws more attention to you, but you don't really have a choice. But I'm in full Michael Jackson brigade. And I've got my security with me, and my cousin David is a big guy. He was head of security. And even the store manager, you can see people's eyes get wide. Their eyes get, you see it in slow motion, their eyes get wide, and they start moving towards you. And he was trying to act really calm. He goes, "Michael, I thought you were in Europe. And then my cousin goes, he just flew in today." I just, you don't crack up because you get used to making up those stories. But I understood on just a micro level, what it was to be him. Just on a micro level, on a micro level, on a micro level. I did a gig for this kid who was ill, and I didn't like doing anything other than venues where there was going to be an audience, and so the illusion was better. But for people to be right up on me, I didn't really want that so much. So I was reluctant to do this gig, but I realized this is something Michael would do. He would go there and be with the kid, you know. And so I had an obligation to do that, and I did. But it was a scandal because when we showed up, but we told them, don't let people know you're having an impersonator come. Please don't do that. Please don't. So when we got there, usually everybody else gets out of the limousine and they form a circle from the tail around the door to the center of the limousine. And then I step out into the circle, we move, and they surround me and we move. All right. But first, my cousin goes in to meet with the client. Then, usually, my sound person goes in to set up my sound and all that, and meet with the client, tell them what I like, what the rules are when I come in. The main client will take pictures with me before I perform, etc., because they'll have great pictures of me after that. So, it was already a scandal. There was already people outside and across the street and everything when the limousine pulls up. And the way that their apartments were, you go up this, you come off the sidewalk, there's a little walkway through a gate, and then a quick turn to the left and up the stairs. And they were like the third door down or something. And that was bad enough. But certainly now they hear the music coming out and all of this. And when I finished, we could not get me to the car. It was a scandal. People were coming, they were taking pictures. They had the door open. It was crazy. I can't do this ever again. I can't. Like, this is too much. I was trying to do this. I'm impersonating a man who would do this. He would have come here to be with this little kid who had leukemia, and I love kids too, and so I was happy to go, but it was just too much. So I just offer that just to say I know on a micro level, I want to be very clear, a micro level, what it is to be this guy. Everybody's screaming at you. They love you so much, and when people see you, they can't believe they're seeing you. And then the other thing that takes people up another notch of hysteria when you see him is most of the pictures that you ever see of Michael don't really say it, everybody, especially back for his pictures from the 1990s. Wow, that's the thing I was struck by the most, because I saw him 3 times his bad tour. But the first time I saw him, we didn't know, because they didn't have Google then. You couldn't just Google a venue and know what it looks like and all this kind of. So we didn't know what our seats were. We got there, we had excellent seats, but we still had gotten binoculars on the way in. You could just rent a pair of binoculars, so you really didn't need them, but we still had them. And I will tell you, the thing I was most struck by is how physically beautiful he was. That's what you didn't expect, because you'd heard all these stories. You'd seen him on TV, and he looked great on TV, but he's had all this plastic surgery, you've had this, and but I tell you, when you looked on him with your own eyes, certainly, and that wasn't even enough for me. I'm still using the binoculars, and he was physically beautiful. There was nothing else to describe him other than that. He was physically beautiful, and I think that also disarmed people. They weren't expecting that. He was that beautiful, and oh my God, wow. And then you got it, like, and then you turn to a 16-year-old girl and you start screaming, you know. So, just a little backstory for y'all. But anyway, they failed, you know, they failed. They weren't able to pull down the numbers, and we give thanks and honor to God for that. We just do. We just do. So, I remind everybody that the link for the GoFundMe is in the description box down below, you guys. I have been pleased and disappointed at the people that go right past my plea and as if I never said it. I'm very serious about this GoFundMe, you guys. And $1 is not too much to ask from any human being on the earth. I need you to click that link. I need you to go and need you to donate. For everyone who has donated, I thank you guys so much. And certainly to the most recent donors, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thus far, we have $3,400 and something dollars. The goal is $10,000. We can get it done, everybody. I've probably had, if I count up my last videos, I've probably had more than 50,000 views. If that, I mean, I don't know what the number is, but it's up there. If everyone just gives $1, we would have been at the 10,000. I would have already cut it off and said, okay, you guys, we're done, we're done, we're done, we got it, we got it. Strength in numbers. And it's not fair to people who have given $1,000, literally. There are people that have given $300, $200, $50, $30, $20, $40, $1, everybody. Strength in numbers. Strength in numbers. Strength in numbers. Strength in numbers. We've all, especially any of us that grew up poor, we all know what it's like when everybody put their money in to get whatever we all want, or something like, I ain't got enough for no pizza. What you got? Well, I got $3. What you got? I got $1.50. What you got? You see, suddenly we have a pizza on the way. Strength in numbers. $1. Do it. I thank you in advance. This is the Jedi.